Hey, shut up. The show about to start.
So, welcome to the podcast about Nada. If you're tuning in for the first time, hey, welcome to the channel. If you could do me a huge favor, go ahead and like and subscribe down there at the bottom. That would be a huge help. Honestly, this is my first episode. Really don't know what to talk about, and the show is about nothing, so that helps. But always remember, nothing is about something. The show is sponsored by You Other Productions. If you're listening to this on Anchor, or if you're watching this on YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast from, I appreciate you for listening and tuning in. Let's have a great show. So, today on the podcast about Nada, we're going to talk about a few things. Today being Monday, I feel like it's a great day to just have a monologue Monday, and we're going to talk about the league. We're going to talk about the NBA, we're going to talk about money, we're going to talk about 3 different things. I like keeping it up so short, about 15 minutes, not that much. In there, that way you can listen to it on your ride to work, on your way home from school, when you just sitting doing nothing while you're cleaning the house. It really don't matter. But hey, I'm glad that you're here. So, like I said before, we're going to talk about the league. We're going to talk about who's my MVP. We're going to talk about the playoffs right now because the playoffs are hectic. We're going to talk about Money Mondays, some stocks that you should look at. I'm not a financial advisor, just want to throw that out there. But I do have some tips on what I think you should do right now as far as the stock market. And then also, I'm just going to give my piece about how I'm feeling right now. You know, the world is in a crazy place because of Corona, and it's starting to open back up. So a lot of people have different opinions about outside right now. So what better than get my opinion on the podcast, right? About Nada. So welcome to the podcast about Nada. So first things first, we're going to talk about the NBA. So if you hadn't been up current in the NBA, LeBron James is out of the playoffs. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, aka the Oklahoma Nets, are also out of the playoffs. So right now, the only 4 teams remaining in the playoffs. The Final 4 is Milwaukee and Atlanta in the Eastern Conference, and then we have Phoenix and the Los Angeles Clippers in the Western Conference. Right now, the series count is 3-1 Phoenix, and it's 2-1 Milwaukee right now. After there, Milwaukee just went down to Atlanta in Game 3 and won the game. My opinion right now on the playoffs is that it's no superstars in the playoffs right now. So I think that's the big thing. Giannis counts, but outside of Giannis, there's really no other superstars. CP3, he's a age veteran. You got D-Book, he's a rising, superstar. Trae Young, he just got his stamp. Paul George, I'm going to talk about Paul George because he has his own section. I feel like a lot of people are not giving him respect. So when you talk about the playoffs in general, we're going to go back and look at some of the losers. Quick tips. LeBron James and the Lakers really look great to me. It's just health. He said about this during the beginning of the season that they did not have a long rest. Down Miami Heat looked terrible this season, only because of the fact they did not have rest. They had 72 days before the season started. Whereas you had teams like Atlanta, New York, Knicks, who all had great seasons. Not going to take it from them, not going to take their time away from them. But they had longer rest periods. They had time to just 3 months just to let their bodies rest and get ready to go through a gruesome NBA year that we went through, where they legit they was playing day after day after day. Sometimes they only had a day in between or 2 days in between. They were playing constant back-to-backs. It was a crazy schedule because they were trying to jam in the game for money purposes. We all know that. We understand it. We're not stupid. We understand what NBA was doing. They had to catch back up on their money. Especially after last year, they almost missed out on the money-making Western Conference Finals of the century with Los Angeles Clippers and the LA Lakers and Staples Center. That would have been crazy. But just to think about all the time that other teams had, I feel like it's kind of a holdback against the Lakers because at the end of the day, they did become unhealthy. And if you think about it, that's a huge thing to happen when your 2 main players that carry the team are battling injuries throughout the whole season. LeBron James was battling a constant ankle injury. AD was battling constant leg injuries. So they was never really fully healthy to play with each other. And then they had new players coming in where they didn't really get the chance to establish chemistry or establish who's going to do what and who's going to be where. Andre Drummond came in, Dennis Schroeder. Montrezl Harrell got played. He shouldn't even sign over there in my opinion because he didn't even get no burn in the playoffs and he would have made a significant difference. But just injuries and chemistry hurt the Lakers. And just staying in the Western Conference now, we have teams like Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is one of those guys where right now he really wants out of Portland. Have you ever heard that before? Damian Lillard wants out of Portland. Damian Lillard wants out of Portland. Damian Lillard wants out of Portland. So it's just like, can you imagine that theory? Damian Lillard has spent his whole entire career in Portland. He's been one of the most loyal guys. Might want out now. Why? Because nobody is taking him serious. They're not taking his winning ambition serious. They're not making any adjustments to the roster. They're not drafting anybody. They're not changing anything. They're not doing nothing. He's had the same coach since he's been there. Terry Stotts. Nothing against Terry Stotts, but what has Terry Stotts done that helped them? They've been the same 5 to 8 seed every year. Nothing's changed. Nothing changed. Nothing's got better for those guys. In my personal opinion, that hurts being a ex-hooper. And I will go over my own biography at the end if anybody want to know my stats or resume when I talk about basketball. But as an ex-hooper, that hurts because that's a guy who's going out there every night putting up 50, 60, 50, 60, 40, 50, 60, 40, 50, 60. And playing in 48-minute games and shooting from that far distance and playing how much he plays and how much he's on the ball and how much moving and constant fatigue he's doing. That is going to get frustrating if nobody is like on the other side of the management is trying to help. I mean, his guys on the court are his soldiers. Like, he'll tell you that all day. His guys on the court are his soldiers, but the management also at the end of the day has to come in and help, and they're not helping. They made an adjustment this offseason where they fired Terry Stotts and they hired Chauncey Billups. That was not who they wanted, nor was he on his candidate list. How would that affect him? We'll just have to sit and find out. But in my personal opinion, I think Dame's out of there. Where will he go? Well, y'all think he should go? Write down in the comments where you think Damian Lillard might go this offseason. It's going to be a crazy offseason in the West. And in the East, some losers we had, like I stated before, we had the Heat who lost in the first round. They looked bad, like bad. Tyler Hero looked bad. Duncan Robinson, which is a crazy thing now seeing that James Harden didn't get traded to the Miami Heat because Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson was more valuable. How did that play out for you, Pat Riley? Now, I'm just saying that because at the end of the day, who would have foreseen this not working out? But it's James Harden, so how can you not see that working out? Hey, but Pat Riley must have saw something we did in the offseason, in the future. So we had Miami losing, we had Brooklyn losing. I thought that was a great series. Again, health reasons. Kyrie hurt, James Harden hamstring hurt, KD was hurt most of the regular season. He barely had time to play with people, so you had people overexerting themselves just to keep them in the playoff race because they never played with each other. So now you have teams playing on top, you have players playing extra men they're not supposed to. And the playoff in that series alone, with Milwaukee alone, Kevin Durant played 2 complete games in the NBA. 2, not 1, dos, complete games. I mean, he did not come out for a break at all in these 2 complete games. And LeBron James is the only player that we've known that ever really does that. And Kevin Durant did it twice and put up crazy numbers in both of those games. And then a lot of people talk about his last shot where he airballed the turnaround 3-0 from Holiday. He was tired. Dead tired. He had him on the edge. He gave it all he got. That was the best shot he thought he could produce at the time. And his body told him he was good, and then when he went and shot it, it wasn't. Well, I've been there before as hoopers. Your body think you can do one thing, and when your mind think you can do one thing, your body is literally telling you can't. So when he went to shoot that ball, his body told him, his body showed him what he can't do. So now we have the example of Brooklyn gone, Miami gone. Who else was another team? Indiana was gone. Philly got upset by Atlanta. I thought that was a huge upset, especially seeing that the size difference was such a significant difference. But we gotta talk about Philly in a different way. The Philadelphia 76ers, right? Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is nowhere near what we thought he was going to be. In my personal opinion, he's an all-star, but he has the power and the capability to be one of the best players in the NBA. Size, passing ability, just those 2 factors alone, and he has a jump shot. I try to make a video on the side where you guys can actually see him. It's probably gonna be like right here, where you guys can see him lighting it up in the offseason, playing against NBA competition and shooting the basketball. Me personally, I think it's a confidence thing. I think he goes back to something where he feels like he knows how to do. And if he doesn't know how to do it in that matter, or he doesn't feel confident doing it, he's not going to do it. He's going to do what he's confident in doing. So we see in this one play, I'm gonna try to put a clip here where we have Ben Simmons legit giving up a wide open dunk. And I don't know why. Except the only reason why I can make sense of it is that he didn't feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable in the clutch moments, and if you don't feel comfortable in that sense of the fourth quarter and we need a bucket or we need a play, and your play is to pass it off, and you have the mismatch, and your mismatch is to score, that's going to hurt us in the long run, Ben. Because of the simple fact we're expecting you to do one thing, and you're not doing nothing of what you're expecting. Again, shout out ULM Productions. If you haven't already got some merch, go to ulmproductions.bigcartel.com and get you some merch. Now, enough about the losers. Sorry to tell you that, but enough about, now we can talk about the winners. So we had, like I said, the Final Four. We have Milwaukee and Atlanta. This series is over with, so I didn't really want to talk about the winners that much because the series are pretty much over with now. Milwaukee is going to kill Atlanta. They figured out the falls. Last night, though, Atlanta had a chance up until, like, I want to say the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter where Trae Young slipped over the referee's ankle and messed up his right ankle, and he just threw everything off. And after that, the offense went. Atlanta went, and Milwaukee went. I think it went on like an 18-7 run or something like that, some ridiculous run. And speaking of runs, Chris Middleton outscored Atlanta by himself in the fourth quarter. So it's just these factors alone that just goes to contribute why Milwaukee will win the series. Chris Middleton is stepping up big. He stepped up big in the Brooklyn series. Giannis Antetokounmpo is falling like ever. And then the biggest contribution to that team, for me, in my opinion, was PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday, only because of the defensive side. We saw the benefits that PJ Tucker played in the Brooklyn series when he guarded Kevin Durant the whole series and made it very difficult for him. And the other side, the hidden secret for that trade was Drew Holiday, his offensive side of the ball. People forget that he's a defensive monster that just, stopping all the perimeter defenders and switching on this guy and not getting his respect to be on all defensive team, which he made this year. But people forgot that he was an 18, 19-point scorer. Sorry, my kid is right here, my baby boy. 18, 19-point scorer in New Orleans. So at this point, he was getting buckets. So as he's a two-way player, PJ Tucker is just a corner three person. He might play 3 and D. Now, Drew Holiday is legit bucket getter and stop you on the other side. So that is crucial for Milwaukee. So when Chris Middleton and Giannis can get a bucket, they now have a third guy to throw to create offense for them, which is huge because Chris Middleton can turn into a spot and shoot guy. Giannis can turn into the slasher roll guy, just duck on everybody. It's a great benefit now. It's a huge benefit for Drew Holiday, right? So that's why I think Milwaukee is going to win the Atlanta series. Next, we have the Phoenix and the LA Clippers series. Now, and in my opinion, the Clippers is being robbed this whole season playoff run because they haven't had an off day. They haven't had 2 off days at all. They've been playing every other day. They had 1 day of rest and they played. 1 day of rest and they played. I think they played the Western Conference Finals 36 hours after they just beat the Utah Jazz in the semifinals. 36 hours. Again, rest. They after this money. The NBA is definitely after this money, boy, because they is not taking no time out to think about these players' rest or health. So at this point in time, I feel like the Clippers getting robbed. They're playing great. They're playing without one of their many superstars, Kawhi Leonard. They're playing without 25 points on the court, and Paul George is stepping up in a significant way. A lot of people are not giving him respect, but he is #1 in points, #1 in minutes played, meaning that he's on the court most of the time, and he scored the most points in playoffs. Over KD, Giannis, everybody else, Trae Young, all the other superstars that stepped up this year, he scored the most points. Meaning that he's putting in the most work, in my opinion, with a team that's, if you look at it, take Paul George off of that team, they does not make it past the 9th seed in the West, barely the 12th, and they don't have Kawhi Leonard, so that's even a harder mission. So now you have Paul George over here playing against a dominant, looks like everything's turning at the right time for the Phoenix Suns. They get their own segment after this clip. But just to talk merely about the Los Angeles Clippers, they're playing without Kawhi. They're playing Paul George. Reggie Jackson's playing lights out basketball right now. Shooting, he's going for a 50, 40, 90 season just in the playoffs alone. You have Patrick Beverley playing great defense, the best defense he's probably played. That's legal, not fouling. DeMarcus Cousins stepped up in a big way. And then Rajon Rondo showed why he's with a huge contribution. He's taking a huge load off Paul George, bringing the ball up the court. Paul George get to his spots. DeMarcus Cousins get to be a factor now. The shooters get to become a factor now. A lot of people don't know, LA Clippers was the #1 3-point shooting team in the West, or in the league last year. Meaning that they were shooting the best from behind the arc. The best from behind the arc. So they're a great shooting team, have many ways to get up buckets, many ways to shoot. I just think now that they're down 3-1, it's going to be hard to come back. This whole playoff run, they've been playing down 0-2, but I just feel like this is different, especially seeing that CP3, Devin Booker, Baby Mamba, and Ayton over there, who's playing like baby Shaq right now, just too hard to stop. So now I get to talk about Phoenix. So Phoenix, right? The Phoenix Suns. When last time you heard of Phoenix Suns being in the Western Conference Finals? I'll wait. Exactly. Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals is a huge thing right now. Especially seeing that the last time we saw any significance was when Steve Nash was playing point guard and Kobe was knocking them out every playoffs. Yeah, big difference. But just to speak on the Suns, Ayton, Booker, first time being in the playoffs, and y'all are putting up crazy numbers, bro. Crazy numbers. Booker's looking like baby mamba. There, to me, is the modern version of the Lakers that we never saw. We never saw Shaq. I didn't really see Shaq and Kobe in their dominance. I was 5 years old, 4 and 6 when they won their three-peat. Wasn't really watching basketball. If I was, didn't really know what in the world was going on. You know, their dominance and their greatness. But now I get to see a different version of it and a modern version of Shaq and Kobe. Ayton. Not saying he is Shaq, because that boy there was something different in LA. But it's the way they're playing, the dominance of the basketball, how they're dominating every person they go up against. Like, Ayton went up against Denver, Jokic, and dominated the MVP of the league. Booker went snap, had a 40-piece. CP3 is playing lights out basketball, one of the best point guards in the NBA of all time. I think now that he's in the Western Conference Finals and he has a chance to go to the NBA Finals, he gets a chance to stamp his legacy. You almost had a big scare with the health and safety protocols, but nah, I think he's okay. I think he figured it out. I think everybody got everything worked out. Monty Williams is doing a hell of a job over there coaching. James Jones, Executive of the Year. Everything is just flowing right now for the Phoenix Suns. And I just think it's a great experience right now for them. And honestly, I think they have the best chance of winning the NBA championship. I see them beat Milwaukee in 6. I feel like Devin Booker, Ayton, Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, that whole crew over there right now just lights out basketball. And you just, right now, just got everything turned at the right time. A lot of NBA vets will tell you right now, you just need luck, good timing, and good skill. They got good skill, they got luck, they got great timing. So that's why I think we're going to win the NBA. That's my NBA rant for today. And now I'm going to talk to you about some money stocks. So if you don't know already, cryptocurrency is, how do I put this? A different space to get into, right? It's hard. You don't really know nothing about it. If people ask you, you might tell them it's fake money because you don't really see it. You don't really hold it. You don't really like get to see it like a USD dollar. It's just, sometimes it just makes you think, are we really trading real money? What are we trading? It's just so many questions that might pop into your head when you're thinking about cryptocurrency. And to me, that's why I don't really advise that to a lot of people. A lot of people that come to me about stocks, a lot of people that come to me about financial advising, not saying I am one, but people just come to me about it in conversation. I tell them all the time, if you don't know anything about cryptocurrency, don't get into it. It's too hard to really understand if you don't know anything about it. If you're not going to take the time out to learn, don't just listen to everybody's opinion on it, because a lot of times out of 10, they're just listening to some guy on YouTube that just told them, hey, this stock is supposed to boom, get it while it's less than a penny, and then when it gets to a penny, you make money. That's the whole scheme, right? But sometimes if you don't know how it's going to do it or when it's going to do it, you might end up losing money. So a lot of times I just tell people to stay away from that. So that's my money stocks tip today. I know you thought you was finna get some stocks that was going to help you out, but instead I'm going to save you money and tell you to stay away from certain cryptocurrency stocks. If you don't know nothing about it, just stay away, because it's too volatile right now. There's way too much going on in the market, and too many people have too much control over the market right now. Like, we call those whales. In the cryptocurrency space, we call those whales. Where they buy up a large amount of the cryptocurrency, and they either dump it, sell it, or they buy a whole bunch of it. When they buy it, they jack the price up, right? And when they sell it, they jack the price down. And it all depends on these groups of people. So it just shows that there's a hierarchy of people who buy, and even if you buy 1 million yourself, you're nothing compared to that person, that bank, or that company that bought 40 billion. So when they drop, or they just bought 40 billion, that's how Dogecoin went up so much. That's how AMC went up so much. Just all these other mimic stocks, that's how they get up so high. People are running and dropping money just to buy into these huge stocks that just are just depending on people just having a good day or a bad day. If these people are having a bad day and they decide to sell, and you just put your whole life savings in that account. Exactly, bro. I didn't even have have to say it. So just sometimes you just have to learn, study, research. All three are the same thing, but all three have different purposes. You're learning the material, you're learning the stock so you can know exactly what's going to happen. You're studying the stock so you can know when it's going to happen. And you're researching it so you can know what is going to happen. Because without those three things, I don't think you should put your money into anything. I don't think you should bet, talk, listen to anything if you don't listen, study, or research. So those are my money stock tips for today. And after this, I'm going to go on my little rant. So my rant for today is whatever you was thinking about doing, do it. Literally, whatever it was. I don't care if it was podcast, YouTube, clothing brand, shit, you trying to become the next hairstylist, American Next Top Model, next rapper, the best drug dealer on the street. Do it. Do it. I know that's some weird shit I said at the end, but just do it. The reason why I'm saying just do it because you never know the benefits or the stress you're going to take off yourself from doing it. This right here, what I'm doing right now, is something I told myself I was going to do a long time ago. Get in front of the camera and just talk to you guys like podcasts about nothing. I've been having this idea in my mind I don't know how long. You know how long it took me to actually do it? Things are going on in my life. But I'm not here nor there, no need a pity story, but I just need to do it. And once I actually got on here and started talking to you guys, I feel so much better. Things are easier now. Just talking. It's not even talking about the things that I'm going through, but just getting on here and doing something I told myself I was going to do. I started a clothing brand. I started a business. This is one of the things I'm going to incorporate into ULM Productions. The clothing brand is already going great right now. We reached our first goal in revenue. Our next goal is coming up soon. And after that, we're just going to keep scaling up. Other than that, though, just do it. I cannot stress this enough. Just do it. Whatever you think you should be doing right now, try it. If you don't think you have enough money for it, find a cheap way to do it. If you think you have enough money for it but not enough time, find time. Find time. Just go do it. I'm telling you, go do it. Whatever it is, do it. I don't care how you do it, when you do it, why you're doing it. I don't care what it is. Just go do it. I promise you, you will feel better. Do it. Pray to whoever you pray to. Believe in whoever you believe in. Have a great day. I love you. If I never met you, I hope I meet you. If I have met you, I miss you. This is the podcast about nada. Thanks for tuning in to the first episode. Peace.